Hi, this is Meta Temel. I'm a senior computer scientist in data services team. In my previous video, I showed you a remoting application written in HTML JavaScript talking to data services server using the new JavaScript Client SDK. We did that by taking an existing Flex remoting application and we converted that into HTML and JavaScript, and we utilized the new Client JavaScript SDK. Now in this video I want to show you a similar application, but instead of remoting we're going to use messaging. For those of you who don't know about messaging in data services, basically it's a publish subscribe type of messaging infrastructure where you have consumers subscribing to a destination and producers sending messages to that destination. So depending on the subscription information and the message headers, um, data services figures out what message from what consumer needs to go to what connected consumers. So even though the model is very basic, it provides a good infrastructure for many interesting applications to be built upon. So I have my Tomcat running already. So our data services server is running. Um, so I'm gonna open up the data services samples app, and we're gonna go to the test drive application again. So if I have it open here, under test drive we have a bunch of samples. Last time I showed you remoting, but this time I want to go to sample 7. This is the publish subscribe messaging. So basically in this sample we have a chat application. So just like any typical chat application, you have consumer subscribing to a destination and producer sends that to the destination, and you have consumer getting the message. So let's just look at the application quickly. So I'm going to open two windows. So this is window 1, so we can actually see the chat in action. Let's open another one. So this is the second one. Copy the URL. All right, so I have these two windows open, and let's say hello from client 1. So we sent, and as you can see, both of them receive it. And if I say hey from client 2, then the other guy gets it. So it's very basic. Let's just look at the code quickly. So so we have a producer talking to destination called chat, and we have a consumer talking to the same destination called chat, and we have a message handler. So when a message gets received, we are basically just displaying it in the panel, and then we have a panel. We have a text input for the message and a button. When you hit send, basically we create a message with whatever is in the text input and send it over. And if you need to look at the destinations, let's take a look. So if you look at chat destination, here it is. We don't even need these properties if you just have chat. Basically, we have a destination that uses the default channels, and in this case, we have a bunch of default channels. But the first one is my polling aim. So we are using polling, HTTP polling, to get updates from the server. So if we want to do the same thing in HTML JavaScript, it's very similar. So I have it open already here. So let me just show you the code first, and then we can look at the actual application. So I define the channel ID and URL. So these are actually the channel ID and URL defined for the polling channel on the server. The destination that we want to talk to is called chat. I have my producer and consumer. So what happens is that on load we set up and subscribe, and this creates a channel with the ID and URL. And we also are passing HTTP polling, so we're saying that we are doing HTTP polling, and the polling interval is 1 second. And we add the channel to the channel set. We set the channel set to the producer and consumer, and we add some event listeners to consumer, just like we do in ActionScript. And we subscribe. And when someone writes a message and sends it, we call send function, and send function, just like in ActionScript, it creates an async message, takes a value from text input, sets as the body, and sends it using producer. So let's take a look. So I'm gonna open another window, but this time is let me make this a little bit bigger. This time, instead of Swift, I'm going to change this to HTML. So this is the file that I created. I just showed you, and I put it on the server. But as you can see, it's not Flash. There's no Flash here. It's just pure HTML and JavaScript. And let's say something. Hi from JavaScript Client, and hit send. And as you can see, both of these guys receive the message from the JavaScript client. And let's say hi from Flash, and hit send. And as you can see, the JavaScript client also receives the message from the Flash clients. So as you can see, no matter what kind of client you have, JavaScript, HTML, Android, iOS, doesn't matter. Data services can talk to them the same way you can talk to Flash and Flex, um, and just provide the same kind of functionality no matter what your client preference might be. So hopefully this is useful, and thanks for listening.